Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Oneill.
I'm Angry. Hello.
And folks, we're bringing you more Red Storm 44, rank. We're in Orsha North, but we're seeing a couple of different plays here. Who's bringing this stuff to the front?
On the left-hand side in blue, we have Oneill playing 5th SS, and on the right-hand side in the red, we have Daniels playing as 1st Poles, and both of them have a balanced income, even though, yes, it looks pretty mavericky. In Red Storm, this is considered balanced.
Well, and I think that's what you want to do. You want to have a light appetizer, you want to eat hearty, and you want to have a good dessert. A little bit heavier than the appetizer, but not too much. I understand. That makes sense to me.
Yep, and especially in considering Red Storm dining at the keep of how your main course lasts for 17 minutes, the B phase that is, it's good to have a lot of your main income come in B phase, as that is the longest phase in the game apart from C phase, but that doesn't start till 30 minutes in, so you're gonna have to wait a little bit for that dessert.
Well, yeah, but that's the whole thing. Like, you know, I've talked to my fiance at the same time. It's got to be like, you have to have a separate stomach for that. So I'm right there with him on that.
That's right.
We are seeing some really, really interesting stuff here opening up. So with the polls themselves in Red Storm 44, we of course are not going to be seeing a standard kind of play, but what's kind of the opening going on here?
Yes, there's mainly a lot of infantry for SirDaniels, especially up north, getting a lot of these. Well, there's a lot of Polish different infantry in this Red Storm, so it's hard to keep track of all of them, but it's mainly Destrokeys and some stormtroops as well. I do like how Oneill is opening up with a lot of KSZ-4s just for some early reconnaissance work, because in Red Storm, these recon cars with 2 machine guns are actually pretty scary, as long as they're not getting shot at by other machine guns.
You know, but the same thing, I feel like these guys right here are, for the most part, just trying to kind of hang out. They're trying to make sure they just kind of screen for material overall. So, yes, they're going to get shot up pretty hardcore, and yes, they can be very terrifying, but they're not there to be a frontline vehicle, per se. It's just to kind of allow troops to kind of get into position, right?
Yeah, I definitely use them more for early reconnaissance. I definitely feel like he races them a little bit too much, because they are still 20 points, which is a bit of a cost in the bank, and they didn't really do all that much, but at least he has a good idea, or should have a good idea of some of SirDaniels' force placements.
You know, the one thing right now that I'm a little concerned about is we're seeing Pack 40s really being brought to the south. Yes, we do have a basically a 2-centimeter Flak 38 up here to the north, but there's an awful lot of light tanks, and, you know, Su-76, a couple T-70s. Normally I wouldn't be too terrified of this, but there's not an anti-tank piece for really a while. Yeah, you have a P4, but we know how those things kind of do.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a pretty good map, I'd say, for the Poles if they decide to really push heavy on the flanks, because just like the Poles in base game, they're fantastic CQC fighters with all T-34s, the T-70s, and some very good infantry to throw in as well. I mean, as we've seen
down to the south, I'm sure you're about to call out, right?
Yeah, that was what I was going to say.
Absolutely, so go for it, sir.
Yeah, we're just seeing, like, the Polish push here going on. I do like how the Bavarians and this SMG squad just completely walk by each other.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of comforting every now and again to see when stuff like that happens, because, you know, that happened. It was one of those weird things that you could waltz right past the enemy and never really kind of know it. And I think all too often, this doesn't really kind of get reflected here. We are seeing a T-70 up to the north goes down, I think, from that P4. So, and was the Su-76 down as well? Yes, the
maybe,
Su-76. Oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah, that 3-star P4 is a rather deadly customer. Once again, veterancy in this mod is an absolutely huge benefit if you can actually get your guys with 2 to 3-star veterancy. And that's what we're seeing from both sides, especially up north mainly. More concerned of getting that leadership out.
Absolutely. Quick call out down to the south. First of all, I never really realized that the Bavarians over here are actually prison troops, but
yep.
We are going to see them probably take down a couple of these half-tracks.
Or maybe not.
That was surprising. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that's what you get when you give rifles to ex-cons. In the meantime, we are going to see that the polls are down 15-9 here. So,
yeah,
not quite what I expected.
I think it's mainly just due to the fact that Oneill has such a good control over the center. We've really just wrong Bavarian squad, as he does have a good amount of flags under his control here. I mean, he is starting to lose quite a bit of territory down south quite quickly. All he has is a few of these Bavarians going to be holding his farmstead, and there's a whole lot opposed. This is exactly what Daniels need to be doing. Try to secure the hills and really push hard here.
Absolutely. I admit I'm just looking over here at the interplay between Discipline and Bavarians. Unfortunately, one Feldschirm and Marie went down. But, yeah, the Bavarians apparently have minus 25% stress resistance. I did not realize that until just now, but man alive, they're like Ersatz trooping.
Yes, it's essentially the same debuff that Ersatz trooping again, but once again, if you use Feldschirm military police nearby, you know, just like in the base game, it actually makes them not run away as much, but with how Red Storm works, it's definitely more of a... The taking field police is much more of an option in Red Storm, where in base game it's pretty much a non-choice to never take him.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Now the one thing with the Viking, the 5th Viking over here, yes, they do get themselves some rather hefty tanks as the match kind of continues on, but one thing I've always been a little bit leery of is their AT on the infantry isn't stellar in the first place, and Red Storm doesn't really combat that either.
Now, really does not have a whole lot, especially in the anti-tank tab. He only has one card of Panzer Shreks and a Pak 40, so it's really going to be relying on those Stugs and those Panzer IVs and Panthers to really do a lot of the heavy-duty AT lifting. And in his forestry maps and the flanks, I think that's going to be quite a bit difficult for Oneill to overcome, and also considering of how good SMG troops now are, as they actually manage to get... They have a faster aim time compared to flamethrowers and satchel charges. In forest fights, by God, like... they will destroy your units extremely quickly.
Absolutely. Now, down to the south, we do have a wet noodle contest going on between Bavarians and then basically the reserve troops over here, as well as a PTRD squad, which is kind of really funny to watch.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know, kind of ended how we expected it was going to. Half-Tracks, in the meantime, getting themselves a rather plucky resistance against a P4. I imagine this might be the last thing they do. That's one.
Definitely seems to be the case, yeah. A 50 caliber machine gun is cool and all, but again, 70 millimeters of armor, I think we're going to need something a little bit bigger.
Also, we are seeing a bit of a furball over here to the north of Yak, who is probably going to take out a Focke-Wulf. Oh no, Focke-Wulf's getting a nice little turning radius on him.
Yeah, he is. He might actually... Oh, is this crate head-on?
No.
There we go. The Yak attack wins.
But there you go. Yep, 2 half-tracks down to the south are dead. To the north, things continue to be a little bit dire, I would argue, for the Poles. But they are definitely stiffening their lines with these Druzinas over here. And I know, folks, please, my pronunciation for all the Polish materials can be completely off. But basically, there's these PP Shah squads are just going to absolutely devastate it. Even the veteran SS Pioneers.
Yeah, it's actually quite nice if it was what you said before, because they actually have 2 DP machine guns as well, so they're pretty decent at long range, like as you're saying. Like, you can use them as a nasty SMG squad, but in this situation, they aren't caught completely with their pants down because they got a whole lot of dagger to rev.
Well, and that's the other thing, too, is that the Poles, I think, almost are much better in Red Storm than they are even in the base game. Yes, I know it's kind of heretical to say, but I think they're more well-rounded in this mod, you know?
Yeah, a lot of the divisions, I definitely agree, a bit more thought out and fleshed out compared to the base game. Like, just in terms of how the divisions and the structure is definitely a little bit more care, it seems like. I will have to say it's less generic. But they are, like, the infantry for the Poles is extremely good, just because you get a whole lot of it, and like I said, those SMG troops are scary. They
absolutely are. I mean, I'm seeing some indirect fire here. We have 81mm stovepipe to the north. I think we had another one to the south.
Yeah, both sides actually using on-map artillery. Quite a few mortars, actually, from both sides being brought out.
True, and I mean, we're so used to just seeing that the 76-2s or the IG-18s, and it's one of those things that I feel like is such a gross disservice to basically an entire weapons platform. I do want to make a quick call out to the southern side. Starting to turn to a bit of a Jackson Pollock painting, as we have just these really weird shifting lines. These Fusiliers, basically, PP Shah squad going down Actually, probably closer to pretty much to a tank with Thessaloniki. And what had been an even 12-12, I think, is going to go right back to a 13-11. So the Poles are going to continue to bleed out a little bit more yet.
Yeah, this is definitely pretty good how Oneill is starting to stabilize the southern side with some good infantry players. He did manage to clear out most of the Russian infantry out of his side of the forest, and there's, I mean, the T-70 might slow him up for a little bit in the half-track as well, but he's making pretty good progress in clapping back on this southern hill. Now, I do like how he's also sneaking this Panzer IV through the forest, a very risky maneuver, but if he could get it into a good position, you can maybe start sniping the enemy reinforcements.
But see, that's the one thing I think I wouldn't feel too confident about, is that you've got to know, and you see right now, he's taking a much more, let's say, reserved approach, is that these PTRDs can definitely plink him to death, and if nothing else, can stress him out to the point he just can't continue. And I think if this was a German division, that P4 would get a lot more opportunity to shine, but you're not going to see that here.
Yeah, it's always the danger against Russians of moving tanks through forest or near close quarters, because behind every bush there's an anti-tank rifle, and holy crap, it completely forces him to surrender. That's really impressive.
Well, you missed also that they were throwing grenades at him as well, too.
Oh, do they have... Oh, they have...
They don't technically have the AT grenades, but remember in Red Storm, all infantry does get grenades against vehicles.
That's true.
Top to rather.
That's true. So it was definitely a pretty clutch player.
Now we actually some kind of battery fire looking for this mortar in the center, and geez, I kind of forgot that the 76-2s on this actually have the true indirect fire, and it is murderous potentially.
Yeah, trying to counter battery at mortar, but not getting any, one like close hit, but nothing all that much. We also have an IG-18 as well, which is going to be firing back. As it says, central position is just becoming a little bit of an artillery war between infantry guns.
No, I want to check the range of this Flak 38 again. 960, okay. I was half expecting it to kind of be moved up to the edge of this force and try to engage across, then I realized, oh yeah, this isn't vanilla. Which is probably a good thing.
Yes. As you might tell, guys, we like this mod a lot.
Yeah, I mean...
If you haven't played it, download it. It's seriously a huge change compared to vanilla.
It requires you to think differently and realize that there actually is such a thing as combined arms warfare, so, you know.
Yeah, and just how the mechanics and the new types of units that they've added is... It really does change the way you play the game. As you're seeing here in this cast, it's much more slower and a lot less spammy compared to vanilla, as we're seeing just, you know, more 1 or 2 infantry squads fighting each other rather than a horde of 9-strokey squads being rushed in.
Well, and I know for me, a lot of the people who watch my cast here always see me kind of continually pull up all the badges, just kind of, at least if nothing else, remind myself, because there's just so much uniqueness about every single unit.
Yeah. But yeah, SirDaniels is managing to actually retake a little bit of the southern hill. He's got a whole lot of infantry reinforcements being brought in here. I feel like just the PTRDs and PTRSs is enough to keep the Panzer IV at bay. And same with that 45mm gun, as the Panzer IV did have its gun jammed. But we got some veteran SS Panzer Grenadiers and Bavarian Pioneers, which are pretty tough customers, but at the same time, SirDaniels has a pretty good defensive position in these farmstead.
Well, now I'm just going to make an equal call out over here to the north. We see that there's going to be 3 T-34-76s. Is that another one coming up? No, we had a couple of Su-76s, though, coming up as well.
Yeah.
So, the earlier momentum, like you said, it might be reversing here. I don't know how quickly, but it's got potential.
Indeed, it does.
Su-85's in the center, and I think he's bringing this heavier equipment in just at the right time, because he's starting to lose some of those artillery positions. You can see the Zist that was there is gone. One of the howitzers that was there is also gone. So, coming at a good time. I'm not sure if this is going to be perfect for it just yet, but he's definitely trying to account for things.
I wonder what he's going to do with those Su-85s. He's going to get 3, like, is that third one? Oh, he's bringing the first one up north, but he has 2 Su-85s on that hill there. I mean, he definitely needs anti-tank firepower, especially for later when Panthers eventually maybe come onto the field. But I wonder if he's maybe will try to do a push into the northern town here, especially considering how he's positioned his T-34 as a good infantry rush to try and capture that town with the fire support from the hill. Could potentially work.
Now, the one thing I feel a little bit concerned about is this Commandant over here. I admire him trying to lead from the front. But that's 334s, and I would not want to be anywhere freaking close to that.
Oh yeah, he's in a bad place at the bad time. And fortunately, the T-34s are pretty blind, so if he just holds fire and hides in the corner of the building, they might not be able to spot him.
That's true, but there's also stroke keys, what, about 300 meters away?
That's true.
Yeah, about 300 meters.
Yeah, I think Strokey going to get a little bit closer to spot, but still. Yeah, it's not a good position for that Commandant, because he really can't afford to lose him. Here we go, we got one rocket run, forcing one T-34 to fall back for now.
And yeah, this is exactly what I'd be doing too. Quick, rush down there, get the surrender, and then book it.
Yeah.
And the Yak goes down, jeez,
wow.
That was fast.
Yeah, in the head-on fight, I mean, the Focke-Wulf does have the heavier armament, so I'm not too surprised about that, but yeah, that was a pretty good kill. And we've also seen a hero unit being brought in, which I cannot pronounce.
Yes. Yes, Master Lek
Yeah.
over here. Now, this other Yak, geez. Again, guys, another thing about the anti-air in here, it is devastating.
Yeah.
But we are 16 minutes in, and it's 13-11 over here in favor of the pole. So they are taking that pole position. Down to the south, I feel like that complex is kind of going to be in their hands for quite a bit of time. Unless there's any kind of crazy artillery rush, which I don't think is going to happen here. I think that's going to be Polish pretty much until the end of the match.
Yeah, Oneill just, I mean, he has, like, pretty good infantry. The veteran SS troops do have a lot of bonuses compared to regular troops. But he's really gonna need armor and artillery support to level out farm complex before actually moving up into it, because the Pole is a very good defensive position.
That is quite accurate, and only, one Su-85 is moving north, another T-34-76, so, oh no, I thought we were flirting with another push here. I think it definitely could have paid off, but I think he's squandered the opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm going to be more direct about that. Definitely could have been a much more easily achieved breakthrough, or at least isolation of this northern flank, had he been a little bit more aggressive with that T-34.
Yeah, so Daniels is pretty close to capturing the northern hill at least. There's only one leader squad, yeah, but it's a pretty beefy leader squad, and he's going to lose another infantry unit to it, however, so he's going to have to wait for some more infantry reinforcements to come in. And it's quite a shame for him, because he could, if he just knocked out one Führer, he'll be able to completely capture the hill, and he'd be in a fantastic position to hold on to it, as it's pretty mostly easy to hold on to the outside of the hill.
That's very true. I mean, but that was the entire Second World War. If you kill one Führer, the entire thing is over.
Many people tried, but they all kept failing.
That's true. I mean, like Furierus?
Yeah. He was definitely on July 20th. Yeah.
In the meantime, though, so just taking a stock of the entire field, this Panther A is getting himself involved, and I don't know, is he trying to engage up to the north? Yeah, I think he's engaged in that T-34.
Or maybe the... Oh, he's engaged in the infantry, yeah.
Okay.
But he can definitely provide a bit of fire support to knocking out the infantry guns on the hill.
Where the heck is he even firing? I'm not even seeing the actual cannon shot go out.
It's the strokey.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a very tight angle, but it is what he's shooting at. And SirDaniels, I mean, he does have his Su-35, so it's just a question of trying to get him into a good position to knock out the Panther.
Well, it's one less Su-85 up to the north, please forgive me there. There are two 70s moving up, but the Ju-88 coming in, and that's a Panther D. I think this northern push is stillborn.
For SirDaniels?
For SirDaniels. I don't...
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to push against this. Not for a while.
Yeah, the Panther covering the road would definitely be a pain in the arse, and I think, yeah, the Panzer Grenadier coming in now, if he can get into that farm complex, that's definitely going to deter what infantry is here currently. It's really up to SirDaniels to use his T-70s and Su-76s to try and maneuver around the Panther. I believe if he was to move his, like, light tanks on that hill, try to secure the hill, and the Panther can't really shoot uphill.
No, it can't, but you know what can't also shoot up is that Hero Panther down in the center, and it's up to one Flak 38 to keep him alive, and I don't know if he has the range on this. No, he doesn't. This Panther A is screwed.
And Flak 38 has a terrible line of sight.
Jeez.
Damn.
And the entire time it's like, was something the matter?
Yeah.
Damn
it, it's a pretty big loss.
IL-2's not making it out, though. I would be surprised. This...
Oh, there's a 37 mil and a yak. And another IL-2. So I don't know, it might be a trap for the Focke-Wulf, but you are correct, IL-2 does go down.
They're not indestructible in this mod.
No.
And by the same token, the other yak's coming back in, and I think that's... Yeah, there's going to be a deflection shot. Oh no, we got super lucky on that. There's a spark. Super lucky. Yeah,
but the Focke-Wulf speed is going to get it out of Dojo, and the weapons jam on the other one, that is terrible. I think the second one will probably go down.
What is wrong with this freaking Flak 38?
I think because he's in heavy forest, can't like, or just young. I think it's just usually the heavy forest. You can't shoot out of it as anti-air upwards. I
would just kind of point in the direction of the engine going, brrr, but you know, I'm a simple man like that, it seems. So.
Mm-hmm. We're all seeing that town push up north actually starting to happen here. SirDaniels is moving a few strokies, but he has just enough fire support with the maximum gun to get just a foothold into that town. With the reinforcements coming in, I don't feel SirDaniels is going to be holding on to it for much longer.
Definitely seems an opportunity. I'm sorry, I got distracted by the Sepersi Sturmovie up to the north with the ambush specialist thing, so just checking that out myself. That is so cool, the accuracy debuff to target people targeting them.
Yeah, ambush specialist is a really good bonus. They recently added the VDV division to the Russians, and all of the paratroopers have ambush specialists as a trait. So you can just sneak around with paratroopers behind enemy lines, and they're absolutely deadly in forest fights.
Oh, for every good reason too. Like I'm actually kind of terrified about that now. IL-2 going head-to-head and engine stalling. Still no kill, but I guess the other Focke-Wulf coming in is going to do more than enough on that one.
Yeah, it's a 1-2 punch here of the Focke-Wulfs, and Oneill has been doing a pretty good job, all things considering, and trying to keep the skies as German as possible. Because one of the Poles' real strength is just all the IL-2s and their support that they can get, as they are pretty dependent on using those cluster bombers to knock out that heavy Panther armor.
Unfortunately, they've lost both of them.
They have.
Yes. I'm not saying the cost of the Luftwaffe over here has been light either, though I'm pretty sure that I think they have maybe one fighter craft left. It might just be a fighter bomber variant as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is 14-10 right now. The Poles are starting to really push over across the map.
I mean, down south here, they're starting to extend a little bit thanks to that Strokey pushing through the forest, capping a flag or two. And maybe, I mean, if SirDaniels decided to push a little bit heavier down south, he could pretty much capture the majority of the flags here. It's just a few SS troops she has to get through.
You know, I'm looking at the difference in the anti-tank tab, and if you want to go over here to the Polish side of things, I almost said Soviet for a second, but you go to the Polish side, they have literally 4 times as many call-ins.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
To be fair, the Poles definitely rely on that a lot more, because their tanks are only just T-34-76s. They do get, I mean, he mainly took a lot of S-35s, which is what he's going to need to fight off these Panthers. So speaking of Panthers, the up north run is getting flanked here from the hill. Perfect positioning here. He might just get the sight shot kill.
More than likely. Stunned crew, 15 seconds. Yeah, he's going down.
Damn, that's a lovely 1-2 punch out. Panther is not in a good position at all, and that's really going to secure SirDaniels' this northern flank.
Not anymore, Boom. Junkers is coming in. It's going to get rid of at least one of those tanks. Watch this.
Alright, it's got 2 500-kilogram bombs. That's going to be a rather nasty payload. Oh no, does it? I don't think he even dropped his bombs. He didn't.
You coward. Press the
target.
We
wanted to see big kaboom.
Exactly. Press the target.
Yeah.
Commandant, in the meantime, he's going to get taken out here. This is the time I go and I pop smoke, except there's no smoke to pop.
Nope. Oh, he's throwing grenades, Joe. He's trying his best.
Well, he's very lucky right now because right now there's still 37 mil that's trying to cover for him. Outside of that, there's really not a whole lot he can do.
Yeah, it was like just standard grenades are actually pretty good at warding off tanks. I mean, didn't do anything to kill the T-70, but enough to save the commandant for just a little bit longer.
Hey man, I've been playing enlisted. I know that works. Explosive packs. That's how you get rid of stewards.
It's very true, and I usually do it the suicide method.
Yeah, there's not those of us who have that high of a level to get planes just yet, but I'm pretty sure when they add the Japanese to it, you're going to be like a level 100 instantly. So.
Yeah. Holy crap! The southern flank is just got very red very quickly, and Gal Oneill does have units here, but just not enough to really affect the front line at all. And it's mainly due to the fact that SirDaniels does have a combat or his own commandant. And once again, the infantry high command is such a huge bonus because it actually affects your influence on the front line. So he's, captured all his territory just because he has a commander nearby.
True, proving that officers are in fact good for something. Although for what they are, other than this game, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, they can draw lines on the map.
Exactly. Grease pencil monkey. I see how that works. But it is 15-9 over here. First SirDaniels against Gal Oneill. Which is not a series of words I expected to say, even with the disparity of the kind of divisional setups. Yeah,
SirDaniels is just doing very well and mainly fighting over the flanks, so that's really his strong suit, and his infantry's been holding out pretty good. Gal Oneill still has a good chance if he manages to use his armor a bit effectively, and that is what he's starting to do up north, using his half-tracks to great effect to pin down some of these Russian troops, and fortunately, there's not a whole lot of PTRD troops up north, so his half-tracks will have a fun time.
Wait, how? Oh, I didn't realize that the Poles actually get 2 commandants, basically, 2 combat officers. I didn't realize that. We have 1 to the north and 1 to the south, so this is not going to be pretty. I feel like if both those officers die, though, that could swing things rather desperately the other direction.
Yeah, because just the bonuses they give is pretty damn useful. Junkers, is he going to drop the bombs? Yes, he is. Just going for the flak gun.
Yep.
And there's no longer a flak gun.
No, there is not. There might not even be a Zis gun in a second. Machine gun, it's not going to get the shot off. That was unfortunate. It was so close.
Yeah. But this is a very good counterpusher from Gal Oneill trying to, pushing up the hill. It's got a bunch of flamethrower troops as well to try to clear out the forest. Yeah, the half-track's definitely proven to be pretty damn useful. SirDaniels rationing some T-34s to try and secure against this infantry. He's definitely going to need some infantry of his own if he wants to take back his position.
I actually kind of like the fact that Gal Oneill moved in with part of those, that entire... That basically the Panther in, with the Panther in and out, as opposed to just kind of sticking in and staying in. That's definitely something that I know I struggle with sometimes. My units at the front line, and they stay there until they're dead, or they've taken the ground that I want them to use. And I think that kind of conservation of force is something that we don't really get to see too often, so I'm really, really happy to see that here.
You make all your troops sign the no-step back order.
Oh, yeah, and that's what it is. I think that, you know what? They're there to die, live and die by my, benevolence, so yeah.
It's true. You brought them into the deck, and you can goddamn take them out.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, the southern push-out from SirDaniels is actually pushing into the farm complexes, actually working pretty well once again. Gal Oneill relying on half-tracks, but there's a little bit more anti-tank of the T-34s to deny at.
Well, and the unfortunate thing, though, is the Poles don't have the same kind of anti-air that they had in the north. You can see right now the Junkers, the Ju-88, man, that wingspan looks huge. But able to get kills.
Yeah, because bombers can actually blow up tanks in this game.
But we've gone back.
Which is surprising.
Absolutely. I'm still stunned by it sometimes.
Yeah, same with the tanks.
But it's 13-11 though in the meantime. And I don't know, Junker for some reason is now just kind of flying cap.
Yeah, I think he forgot to evac it, but yeah, there we go. But Gal Oneill starting to, like, down south as well. I'm quite surprised he's managing to hold on to his position. He does have... I don't know if he's going to be really able to retake his southern hill in a major way. Maybe just the forest area where he's pushing onto now. But back like deep into the farm complex with all the like tanks and infantry dug in, I think it's going to be a little bit too much.
I'm sorry, I was watching that Ju-88 go around in circles endlessly. And because he was going around in circles endlessly, despite the fact that there's 2 pilots in that stupid thing.
Yeah. I'm so close to blowing up the supply
I was watching
truck.
and I was like, are we going to see a kill here?
Our supply truck should have just been 200 meters to the south, you know?
Yeah, we're horrible people that we want these digital soldiers to get killed so violently.
Especially the non-combatants.
Exactly, exactly. Though non-combatant is a bit of a sliding scale. Like, I know we're not going to see it because they don't really have the Winter War stuff in here, but there was some unit of the Finns that was a bunch of, like, clerks and supply officers that ended up getting drafted into the front line, and then, like, by the end of it, it was always kind of like, oh, who do we have? It was, like, task, like, 141 kind of stuff, and it was just, like, throw them in the front lines, wherever the fighting is heaviest, let's go there.
Yeah.
So, forgive me, watching the Shtug up north getting tracked and then taking out his tormentor over there with that T-70.
Yeah. Yeah, Gallineal's definitely been denied one of the advantages of his division, and that is engaging at long range, as the thugs and the Panther Force and the Panthers can definitely beat out all the Polish armor pretty easy peasy like. But with mainly the fighting concentrated on the flanks, his armor has been pretty useless for the most. Not completely useless, but less useful, let's say.
That's true, but his air power continues to be at least relatively impactful.
Yeah.
Not incredibly, but relatively.
Trying to... Whoa!
I don't agree with that one.
How did napalm blow it up?
That's what I do not agree with. But
That must have been very hot bombs, but yeah, damn. That was a good kill nonetheless, knocking out that Panther.
yes, it was.
Yeah. Yeah, Panther was like low in HP. But it was pretty damn crazy.
And I think there's very little in the way of air power left for Oneill. And we're starting, I think, see some of his infantry opportunities start to dry up as well. So I'm starting to get a little concerned for his long-term prognosis here.
Yeah, I mean, up north is SS Panzer Grenadiers, Panzer Grenadiers are getting just stunned up before they can even get into a good position, as SirDaniels has managed to re-secure this northern flank here, which is, you know, some good infantry position down south as well. Like, SirDaniels holds both the hills, it's a 16-8. It's really not looking good for Gal at all.
No, it's not. No. And I can't help but feel that part of it might be because of that second officer.
Yeah, it's definitely helping in securing the flag.
Like, well, on both sides, in fact.
Yeah. I mean, northern flag, it's pretty even, because Oneill has his own officer to counteract the influence, but the southern flank is definitely for sure helping him to get out 1 or 2 extra flags, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Now, we are seeing one of those brave, if ultimately foolish, squads of AT infantry being moved in. Unfortunately, he's going to run right into a Fusilier squad, as well as a Ma Deuce on top of that half-track, so this guy's going to die pretty quickly, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, up north, SirDaniels does he flanking some of his armor around the forest. If he can actually get it into the other side, you can start sniping the supply or the reinforcements units before they can even get to the front line, and that will definitely be a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly.
But it's just keeping him a bit more of a defensive posture for now.
Well, and we're starting to fall into the whole idea of why push if I can go and win this by just staying put. There's no reason for me to go and risk my troops.
Yeah. I mean, SirDaniels only needs to hold on for 5 minutes if he keeps +2 here to get an easy victory. So, I mean, he already has a great position on the map up north and down south holding hills. He doesn't have to do a whole lot. And Oneill just... I mean, if we're looking on the mini-map here, Oneill does not have a whole lot of troops on the map.
No, he doesn't. And indeed, there's a couple of them that are pinned behind enemy lines here. You're going to see this actually turn to another 16-8. And I will not be surprised to see it go to a 17-7 here soon enough. So artillery continues to pound the front positions as well. Jeez. I'm trying to think about some of the first Poles air power. I'm trying to think about how much is left. The IL-2s are down. The Napalm IL-2s, there's at least 2 of them, I think, that still live. And we're in that late game. I feel like this is not the time. You bring in a PE-2, you blast what you perceive to be the most vulnerable part of the line, and then just go storming on through, man.
Yeah. Just try to keep those Panthers and heavy tanks at bay. I mean, you do have one Panther in the central position just doing some long-range sniping, but in his current position, he can't really affect the main chunk of the front line here. He can, like, maybe kill a machine gun and that's it. Oh, here comes a PE-2, however. I think he's just going to be bombing the absolute Jesus out of that town.
More than likely.
Oh no, the Panther. But he does miss.
Because in the meantime, I think he's going to be bombing the absolute Jesus out of that town. Though, against a single MG, I'm not entirely sure I really understand the decision on that one. But he kills 75 non-combatants and lowers property values in that area by several tens of, thousands of rubles for decades to come.
Yeah. Yes, he will. I do like how in the central position, this Dusker is just plinking away its Panther tank. Oh no, now he's plinking at the Pak-40, so it's definitely a better target.
Well, that's one of the first, I think, units that came out earlier on, so I am surprised that this particular Pak-40 is still alive. But, yeah. Good on him. I'm really quite impressed.
Yeah, the whole central part of his map has been pretty quiet for the most part. Oneill definitely in hindsight could have pushed here a little bit more aggressively, as this is a bit more of a better area to push, so to speak, for Panthers and long-range tank fights, but yeah. Oh, we got the Panther track up north, going to be picking off the last remnants of the tanks in there, but with only 15 seconds left, it doesn't really matter.
I'm not sure he's going to get the kill off either. I mean, he's got 7 seconds to get in range, get aimed, and fire, and he's taken forever to reload, because apparently he wasn't there in the day that they learned how to plop a rocket in the back of that tube.
Yeah.
And there we go.
There we go. A good game, and actually pretty close in kills, only a 600 different.
Okay, SirDaniels has won my vote. I'm looking at his avatar right now, and he's got Calvin and Hobbes, so that's it. I'm done.
GG, he wins a moral victory as well.
Exactly. And that's with Oneill having, good old Colonel Jack there. Now, I seem to remember the air power being a little bit more decisive than it turns out to be. I mean, we are seeing Walzak over here taking out 3 aircraft by himself with a 37 mil. And indeed, we had that one Zis-3 who's got himself a fair chunk of kills. Yeah, wow. Geez, the anti-air was absolutely deadly. 85 mils got 3 kills. The 37 mils got 3 kills. That's quite bloody impressive.
Right, indeed. But yeah, the IL-2s did make it where it counts. I mean, I see 2 IL-2s which has managed to knock out a Panther each at least, which is definitely... I don't think it's... just looking at the prices. Okay, it's a rough trade in terms of losing the IL-2, so... Yeah. And then looking at losses here...
There's one Panther D who's got a fair chunk, and there's Johannes right under him, the Focke-Wulf 190 pilot.
Yeah.
Picking up a trip of kills. So, pretty well done. Other than that, Steiner picking on the infantry, but, this was one of those games where if you were on the front lines, you weren't going to be there long.
No, it was pretty deadly, and once again, 5th FS really got screwed, and they just couldn't really use the tanks to their advantage, and Poles and close quarters fights, they are... in the mod and vanilla, just absolutely good knife fighters. These forests and town fights at Risi.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. But well done to both players. I mean, Gal for fighting the good fight, and Daniels for taking him there. I think Thursday's going to bring some more kind of heavy action coming to you from Red Storm Rising. Excuse me, Red Storm 44. It's always Red Storm Rising in my mind because of the Tom Clancy book. But until then, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.